arms of a girl in Louisiana.
The historical neighborhood known as Fat City is located in the heart of the New Orleans suburb of Metairie. It is bordered on the north by West Esplanade Avenue and south by Veterans Memorial Boulevard. It stretches 4 blocks from Severn Avenue to the east to Division Street on the west. It is located directly across the street from the oldest and highest grossing mall in the state of Louisiana, Lakeside Shopping Center. In 1954, Jefferson Parish began construction of Veterans Memorial Boulevard, which would become the major highway through the area and a bordering road to the Fat City neighborhood. Prior to this 8-lane road being built, the area directly north, which would become Fat City, was sparsely residential and underdeveloped. The first stores, which eventually formed the current shopping mall, were opened between 1958 to 1959. In 1969, Lake Pontchartrain Causeway Bridge opened and connected New Orleans with the north side of the lake. This new fairway brought about a boom in growth in the area immediately south of the lake. Several bars and lounges soon opened around the shopping center, followed by housing complexes for the growing single population in the area. That city noticed a boom in development in the early 1970s. It was a bustling neighborhood of apartments with a popular nightlife throughout the 1980s and 1990s. The area began to experience higher levels of crime, and the number of cheap, dirty bars and lewd strip clubs increased. By the late 2000s, local government officials decided to clean up the area by changing zoning ordinances and increasing regulations on bars and nightclubs. Councilwoman Cynthia Lee Shang reinstated a committee to evaluate whether businesses with liquor licenses could keep them, and she pursued an ambitious overhaul to the area's zoning ordinance. It was designed to sweep Fat City into the trend of new urbanism, a retrofitting of United States suburbs into pedestrian-friendly town centers, similar to the main streets of yesteryear. There are also no longer any adult entertainment establishments open for business in the area. Fat City is now the most racially diverse area in the New Orleans metropolitan area. Based on outreach to residents, business owners, stakeholders, and community leaders, there is a remarkable consensus on a future vision for Fat City. The common elements of this vision include a vibrant mixed-use neighborhood with a stable residential base, a pedestrian-oriented core centered on 18th Street, a more family-friendly environment with retail shops and restaurants that serve the neighborhood and attract visitors from throughout the region, and compatible transitions between the mixed-use core, residential areas, and heavy commercial areas at the periphery. Fat City started off as an entertainment district for young singles living in local apartments, then exploded into one of the most popular areas in the New Orleans metropolitan area, before falling into a culture of crime and debauchery. Recent efforts by municipal leaders have resulted in resurgence within the neighborhood.
We performed our initial windshield assessment on May 22, 2015. Apartments were basically the only housing found in the area. The northern section had apartments that appeared more maintained, newer in build, and landscape, but the southern section apartments were older, more run down, and many had little to no green space. There were not very many residents seen around the apartment complexes. However, we did perform our windshield survey during working hours. Apartments by Tonti managed majority of the apartment complexes, and they even had a new complex under construction the day of our assessment. Some of the complexes housed pool areas and small grass areas, but we did not see any public plazas, playgrounds, or dog parks for the community as a whole. Residents appeared to rely mainly on their own transportation because numerous parked cars were seen at the complexes. Taxis were seen on the border streets, and we also saw 3 bicyclists, giving the appearance that these means of transportation might also be prominent. The community housed 1 sheriff's office, however no fire departments, EMS stations, or hospitals were seen. The community did have various specialty health services, including urgent care, dialysis, and dentists, just to name a few. The community as a whole had a very high traffic volume. The noise from the roadways filled the air in areas closest to the boundary streets and near 18th Street. 18th Street appeared to be the center of the community because it had Fat City banners lining the street, and it was also the site for most of the new development. Majority of the people seen on this day were also on 18th Street, and they varied in age and race. However, we don't know if these people were residents, employees of the local businesses, or visitors. Some of the older businesses did appear vacant, such as Cheers and Crazy Johnny's Steakhouse, but the older, well-established businesses of Bromart and Drago's appeared to be doing very well. Some of the vacant, abandoned buildings were eerie due to the lack of maintenance and infrastructure and overgrowth of the landscaping. Leisure activities within the area were numerous, but the primary focus was shopping. Countless shopping strips were located on our boundary streets, including beauty salons, restaurants, clothing boutiques, gift stores, just to name a few. These findings led to our conclusion that the area was transitioning and the beginnings of growth were evident. However, green space was lacking and traffic volume may present a problem.
Say my name, no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you if you ain't running.
Let's name those demographics. Fat City falls within a 70002 zip code in Metairie, Louisiana. According to the 2010 United States Census Bureau, the population for the area is 18,879, which is a 2.8% decrease from the 2000 census. The area has a slightly greater number of females compared to males. The median age for people within the area is 37.6 years old for males and 43 years old for females. The young adult and middle-aged adult groups compose the majority of the population at 62%. The area is racially diverse, but 71.3% are identified as white. 73.4% of the population are fluent in only English, which is congruent with the national rate but less than the Jefferson Parish rate. In regards to education, the majority of the population has some college experience or an associate's degree. The median household income is $52,132, which is higher than Jefferson Parish in Louisiana. The poverty rate is 14.4%. 62% of the population identify themselves as employed, and the remaining are spread between unemployed, the armed forces, and not within the labor force. Of the household types, the husband and wife family dominates at 39.4%. As far as buying and renting, 54% own homes and 46% rent. The majority of residents drive their own vehicles. Lastly, of the employed population, 65.5% have private insurance. And those are your stats for Fat City. Fat City, check.
Roses really smell like yeah, roses really smell.
Environment is defined as both the social and cultural aspects of a population, which include air, water, physical conditions, influences, and overall surroundings of a community. Fat City in itself is a 1.25 square mile area located within the city of Metairie. Overall, the city is clean and well kept and was newly renovated in 2014 by Jefferson Parish. These renovations included widening sidewalks for pedestrians and cyclists, smoothing the streets over, and incorporating new city signs, all in hopes of brightening the city and appealing to a new clientele to make it a pedestrian-friendly town. The area lacks green space due to the fact it consists more of businesses and apartment complexes instead of self-standing homes. There are scattered trees by the apartment complexes located near West Esplanade, but no parks are available for residents to utilize. There is little overall congestion on the streets of Fat City, although the problem can be found within the limited number of parking spots available to residents and businesses. Parking is strictly enforced daily, causing a burden to residents and shoppers. Plenty of no parking signs are posted on the side streets and in business parking lots stating vehicles will be towed if unlawfully parked. Side street parking is not offered in this community. Each street in Fat City has adequate amounts of street drains to drain standing street water, so flooding is not an issue. These drains lead to a drainage system into the canals that run along West Esplanade and Veterans Memorial Boulevard. Jefferson Parish establishes garbage pickup on Tuesdays and Fridays, and recycling is picked up on Tuesdays. Trash from the dumpsters are collected via a privately owned company named Progressive. The housing of Fat City mainly consists of apartment complexes owned by Tonti Management. These complexes are all 2 to 3 stories in height with parking lots located on both sides, front parking spots for handicapped drivers, and towing signs for the public to ensure their residents have adequate parking. The multiple apartment complexes between 18th Street and West Esplanade are well-kept rented apartments, whereas 18th Street to Veterans are not maintained well and seem older. Other than apartments, other buildings include locally owned shops and restaurants, and Asian and Hispanic cultures are prominently available there. The United States Environmental Protection Agency puts out an air quality index, AQI, that measures daily air quality of an area. This index shows how clean or polluted the air currently is and how it may be associated with certain health concerns. The AQI of Fat City is ranked with a score of 100 out of 500. Overall, this means that the residents that are sensitive to allergens and pollutants should consider reducing prolonged or extended exposure outside.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys.
Looking at the crime statistics in 2006 compared to 2014, there are half as many crime reports and fewer reports of suspicious people hanging around the community since Cynthia Lee Shang was elected into office and started the rebuilding of Fat City. According to District Commander Josh, the city is now filled with more families and feels like a safer community to the residents. Apart from the crime, more safety issues that has been seen in the area are the sinking levees that poses a major threat of flooding in the area and the lack of crosswalks. Another major safety hazard in the area is the lack of barricades along the Jefferson drainage canals. Since these canals do not have barricades, there have been many reports of people driving into the canals. Cynthia Lee Shang has been meeting with Jefferson Parish officials to discuss more information on putting up more barricades on the canal. The primary modes of transportation are cars, buses, walking, and bicycling. The average travel time to work is 22.1 minutes. In the 70002 zip code, approximately 79.1% drive, 12.5% carpool, 1.5% use public transportation, 3.8% walk, and 0.7% use other means of transportation to get to work. The Louis Armstrong New Orleans National Airport is located approximately 3 miles away, and the closest Amtrak station is located 7 miles away. The Jefferson Transit is the primary public transportation operating in Fat City. The route that runs through Fat City is E1 on Veterans, and the bus stops are located every 2 blocks. In the event of an emergency, residents of the community can tune into 870 AM and 101.9 FM radio to hear for news updates and evacuation routes.
I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
Fat City is in District 5 of Jefferson Parish. The parish president is John F. Young Jr., and the councilwoman of District 5 is Cynthia Lee Shang. Councilwoman Shang was elected into office in April of 2009 and has been making huge changes to the area of Fat City ever since. The following interview is of Councilwoman Shang discussing the initiatives to improve Fat City and its quality of life. What are some issues the Fat City community is experiencing?
This is probably before your time, but Fat City a long time ago was a real hot spot in the 1970s. It developed really without a plan. A lot of nightclubs. It ended up being kind of a nighttime area. Very strong community actually gave the French Quarter a run for its money for the nighttime things. So then it went into a big decline in the 80s and 90s, and we had a lot of crime issues, a lot of alcohol beverage outlets in a very small area. In fact, just in that neighborhood, probably 23 alcohol establishments. It was very tough. So that was a problem. So in 2010, we did some major zoning, tried to kind of neutralize that, made them close early, 12 o'clock during the week, 1 o'clock on the weekend, and now we've seen the crime kind of, we've neutralized the area. We think about 40% less calls for service. So that was one of the issues. Now that in the recent years we're starting to kind of, the area's gotten a little bit safer, especially the perception of it being safer. So that's certainly one of the issues.
Okay. What are the first priorities needed to be addressed in order to solve these issues?
So I think when we look at the Fat City area, it's just crucial for us on the East Bank. It's right next to Lakeside Shopping Mall. It's certainly the heart of Metairie, the heart of economic development in Metairie. And that was one of the first things we needed to do, is change that perception and really neutralize that area. And so we needed to fix the infrastructure, because any community, any neighborhood needs to have what government needs to provide, which is a good street, sewage, drainage, water, light standards. So we upgraded all those. So it cost us about $4 million, and we did all those improvements in that neighborhood, up and down 18th Street. So I think that was some of the priorities, and and then really fixing the zoning so that we encourage new investment in that area, so that people who are going to open a new business are willing to now go open a new business when they don't have a strip club next door. You know, that was a deterrent to investment. Nobody's going to go. It's already a kind of a gamble to be an entrepreneur and say, I'm going to go try to open my business here. Nobody does that next to a strip club, and nobody really does that next to a bunch of bars.
Right.
So again, doing those kind of things that government can do in our regulations. You know, what we would have loved to have done is just buy up all the properties and then kind of resell them. But, you know, many would argue that's not really government's role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not really, that's not what we're equipped to do. And probably that's not what the taxpayers would want us to do with their money. So, you know, we've really kind of strategized that area with doing what we can in a regulation standpoint, like I talked about the bars, the strip clubs, closing them down, and then, of course, from a service standpoint in providing better services there.
Okay. Fat City Friends Incorporated is a nonprofit organization working alongside Jefferson Parish City Council to help restore the community of Fat City. They have planted over 200 trees and are in the process of painting 12 murals throughout the community. Based off the registered voters in Jefferson Parish, 44% of the voters are registered Democrat, 30% of the voters are registered Republican, and 26% of the voters are affiliated with other parties.
Grace King High School is the only public high school within a 5-mile radius of the Fat City community. It currently offers grades 9 through 12 and is located on Division Street near West Esplanade Avenue. English as a second language or ESL students at Grace King make up a large portion of the student body. Grace King offers a wide variety of co-curricular programs and extracurricular activities, all of which are paid for by the state, parish, and city allocated funds. Several are held in the new Fine Arts Building, which was built in 2013, with a full television production room, black box theater, and practice spaces. There are also many sports available for Grace King students to be involved in. Lastly, there are various vocational class options available to prepare students to go directly into the workforce after graduation. Grace King received a grade of a B on the Louisiana Department of Education 2014 School Grade Report Card. This grade was largely in part due to the high dropout rates and low student test scores. Grace King loses approximately 6.27% of the student body annually due to dropout rates. The school's current graduation rate is 71%, with roughly 54% of those students attending college or university after graduation. Most students arrive and depart from school via the school's provided bus system, which is available to all students who live within the school's district. The school has very active special needs program, and the program involves students of all types of developmental levels, and many of these students are integrated into the normal classroom setting. A mini golf course was placed many years ago in the center of Grace King's courtyard for those students to utilize throughout the day. There is one school nurse available on campus to students, faculty, and staff 4 days a week. Her responsibilities are minimal and include yearly physical exams and assessments. Current health needs affecting the Grace King students include teen pregnancy, poverty, and needs specific to the ESL students. The school has several programs available to address these needs, such as offering homebound teaching for pregnant teenage girls, providing breakfast for students, and surveying ESL students to better understand their learning needs. Vanguard College of Cosmetology, a Paul Mitchell partner school, is the only vocational school within the Fat City borders. The school is located on Hesmer Avenue near Veterans Memorial Boulevard and offers 2 certification programs, cosmetology and cosmetology instructor. Also, grants and loans are available to Paul Mitchell students in need of financial aid assistance.
Throughout the Fat City community, there are multiple healthcare services that are available to its residents. Metairie Imaging is an imaging services center located on Division Street. This center is privately owned and has been operating in the Fat City community since 1991. They specialize in safe and quick MRI services. Fresenius Medical Care is the newest health facility located on Deck Bar Avenue. This center is locally owned by Ochsner and offers a variety of services consisting of management of chronic illnesses, in-center dialysis, transplant support, and nutritional services. There is one urgent care center in Fat City. Urgent Care of Metairie is located on Division Street and is only open Thursdays and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This urgent care offers non-emergent services such as treatment of respiratory infections, sinus or allergy infections, and flu and other vaccinations. There are no hospitals located in the Fat City area, but East Jefferson General Hospital is within 5 miles of the community. East Jefferson offers EMS services to the Fat City area. In Jefferson Parish, the EMS answers almost 40,000 calls a year, and the average response time is typically 5 to 6 minutes. Also in the Fat City area, there are other healthcare services including dental, chiropractic, eye clinics, and veterinary clinics for the residents' animals. There are only 2 churches located in the Fat City area. Metairie Church is a new church located on Severn Avenue and consists mainly of the Baptist religion. Casa del El Ferrero is the other church located on Division Street. This church was built mainly for the high population of Spanish and Latin Americans in the community.
It's not about the money, money, money. We don't need your money, money, money. We just
Fat City has gone through a recent economic boom over the last few years. When you drive down the streets of Fat City, you'll see that it's mainly composed of small businesses and residential apartments. About 54% of residents rent, leaving 46% owning their living space. Fat City has a census of 19,423 people, and of that, 16,173 are employed, which is a higher rate than most areas in Louisiana. The sales tax of Fat City is 8.75%. The economic draws to Fat City are the location, shopping, dining, and real estate. An example of a larger business in Fat City is Bromart. Bromart is a grocery store that has been in business for over 40 years and counting. It's located on Severn, close to Veterans Boulevard. An interview with workers Melanie and Glenn answered some of the questions we had about recent changes of the small community of Fat City. When asked what kind of changes Fat City has gone through, they stated, "Fat City has changed in the last 2 to 3 years. It used to be known for the bar scene. Because of that, we were like the French Quarter of Metairie. There were strip clubs and bars, but now more businesses are opening up like groceries and boutiques." When asked how businesses were in their location, they stated that they're currently undergoing plans to remodel the store and parking lot to revitalize their property to intrigue buyers to come to their store instead of the big new competitors like Whole Foods down the street, but overall business has been steady. With that, there are many large businesses in Fat City that include the newly opened Chronos Spa and Gym, Dick's Sporting Goods, Dillard's, and many more. Fat City thrives on small businesses. A small business that has been around for over 35 years is Inspirations Hair Salon, located on Division Street. An interview with the owner Julius of the salon gave a small business owner perspective of Fat City. He stated business clientele dropped after Hurricane Katrina, but over the years has increased and continues to see the same clients that he has for decades. He said he loves Fat City and has never had a problem with business, even with the storm. He thinks his business is in a great location and never had any problems with the neighborhood regarding safety. Other small businesses include Fat City Diner, Schumacher Uniforms and Dragos, and many more. The biggest revenue booster for Jefferson Parish and Fat City is Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras pulls in the crowds of about 80,000 people, and there is an average economic impact of $6 million for Jefferson Parish per year. This impact provides corporate and small business owners with great advertising during the Mardi Gras season. It offers families and friends to gather in a safe and fun environment to experience music, crafts, and unique food vendors. Mardi Gras is a free festival for the residents of Louisiana and tourists from all around the country.
baby, kiss me through the phone. Kiss me through the phone. I'll see you later on, later on.
The New Orleans Advocate and the Times-Picayune are the 2 major newspapers available to the residents of Fat City. The New Orleans Advocate can be delivered to residents for a monthly fee, or it can be purchased from newsstands and front of businesses in the area, such as the Fat City Diner. The Times-Picayune can also be delivered to residents for an affordable price, or purchased from the newsstand in front of Bromart Supermarket. The New Orleans Advocate and the Times-Picayune, as well as various newspapers, can be purchased at the local business Lakeside News, located on Severn Avenue. Residents in Fat City have access to a number of news stations. These news stations include WDSU, WVUE, WGNO, and WWL-TV. Another television broadcast available to the residents of Fat City is Jefferson Parish Government Access Television, JPTV for short. JPTV is available 24 hours a day and is a public resource for the residents. On JPTV, residents are able to watch the parish council meetings. A major website available to the Fat City residents is the Jefferson Parish website. This website allows the residents to see information as well as upcoming events in the parish. Residents can also find the parish council meeting schedule on the website. Social media, such as Facebook, is used for communication with residents. Fat City has a Facebook page that posted links to news stories in the Fat City area. However, there has not been a post since November 13, 2012. Local businesses like Drago's, Bromar Supermarket, and Lakeside Mall, as well as Grace King High School, also uses Facebook to connect with the residents. Residents in Fat City can also meet with other residents and visitors to socialize at local coffee shops such as Pacino's Coffee, French Press Coffee House, CC's Coffee House, Morning Call, and as well as the Starbucks inside of Barnes & Nobles located on Veterans Boulevard.
Fat City used to be known for its nightlife. In 2010, 22 bars were open. Due to a law that passed in 2007 stating that bars only located in Fat City had to stop serving alcohol earlier, many bars had to close. Currently, there are 4 bars within the area: Pat's Pub, Boom Boom's Bar, Bottom Line Bar and Grill, and Loggers International Ale House. We found that all of these bars have to hold specials to help draw in the crowds. Martha Meyer's School of Dance offers a variety of classes for girls of the ages from 2 to 18. Grace King offers many sports and extracurricular activities for students: football, baseball, softball, basketball, soccer, volleyball, wrestling, track, cheerleading, dance team, student council, and yearbook. The first annual Fat City Fest was held this past November. The festival included local food trucks, face painting, local art, and the band The Bag of Donuts. Because of this success, there's talk of a second Fat City Fest. Lakeside Shopping Center has over 120 stores and holds many events throughout the year to encourage hopeful customers to make their way to the mall. One of Fat City's streets finds much excitement and laughter during Louisiana's most special holiday, Mardi Gras. Severn Avenue is included in almost all Metairie parades. People love catching the parades on Severn because they are able to catch the parade not only once, but twice. Mardi Gras brings in many people of all ages to Fat City.
So we keep waiting on the world to change.
There is a potential for continuing positive community improvement and enhancing the partnership between the private and public sector among Fat City residents, business owners, patrons, and visitors related to improved quality of life by the decrease in nighttime disruptions, improved nightlife safety, and decreased crime rate as demonstrated by the primary data collected during the windshield assessment and police reports stating an overall decrease in crimes in the Fat City area. The first nursing intervention to involve the Fat City residents in enhancing the positive community improvement is social marketing. The nurse could use social media or develop a weekly Fat City newsletter to inform the residents about new restaurant specials or things like the Fat City Festival.
The second nursing intervention is community organizing. The nurse could use surveys and flyers to collect information about the needs of the residents and then conduct monthly town meetings to address the needs of the city. The Healthy People 2020 goal is to increase the quality, availability, and effectiveness of the educational and community-based programs designed to prevent disease and injury, improve health, and enhance the quality of life.
Our nursing diagnosis for Fat City is lack of green space and parks within the Fat City limits related to the economic increase in commercial buildings as evidenced by no visualized greenery observed by the primary data from the windshield assessment except for one vacant gated lot. The interventions to promote more green space in the community are advocacy, health teaching, and community outreach. The nurse and residents of the community would need to advocate for green space in that it's good for exercise as well as for the pets. Advocating can be done by collecting information, partnering up with the local veterinarian office, and publicly voicing opinions. Health teaching can be implemented by stating that holding health and fitness classes and other means of exercise can improve the overall cardiovascular health if a park were present in the community.
Health teaching could be promoted via the high school, fests within the city, and a collaboration with the city council. Lastly, community outreach via social media organizations such as Fat City Friends Incorporated and the Zoning Committee could all help initiate how to build the park and where to get the utilities. Overall, if these three interventions were implemented, it could improve the lack of green space and health benefits. Our Healthy People 2020 goal is to improve health, fitness, and quality of life through daily physical activity.
Nursing Diagnosis 3. Concern for community safety among Fat City residents, business owners, workers, and visitors related to lack of available commercial parking with minimal crosswalks available, lack of a neighborhood watch program, and an increase in automobile theft and burglary crime rates as demonstrated by District Commander Josh, stating that a con of Fat City is parking because it is hard. By Sunny, a waitress of a Fat City diner, stating parking is kind of annoying. Also by observing a woman walking across the street with her children, by observing only one crosswalk in the area, and by secondary data showing automobile theft rate being at a 3 and automobile burglary rate being at a 4 via Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office.
Our first intervention is health teaching. To teach the Fat City community about the available services on safety and prevention, the nurse could set up a self-defense and safety class hosted by the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office. Our second intervention is advocacy. The nurse can observe and interview the Fat City residents and see where crosswalks and public parking should be located throughout the community.
Our third intervention is community organizing. To help fix the safety concerns for the Fat City area, the nurse can organize a community neighborhood watch program and collaborate with the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office. Our Healthy People 2020 goal is to create social and physical environments that promote good health for all.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really wanna zig a zig.
Being able to go out and experience Fat City was a very enriching experience, and it opened up our eyes to what a community entails and all the aspects that make up a small and unique community.
The process was a great team-building activity. We were able to work on our communication and leadership skills in a timely manner during our meetings.
We appreciated the scheduled time the group had together on Friday. Meeting together also gave us the time to complete our portions of the paper at school.
We also appreciated that Dr. Beyer would email us daily to keep us on track and remind us of anything that needed to be completed. Dr. Beyer also allowed us to send our portions of the paper to her to get her recommendations.
The location of Fat City was near many restaurants, shopping centers, and was convenient to get to and from school.
One thing our group has in common is that we like to eat, so we loved the fact that we had plenty of great restaurants to choose from.
One of the downfalls of the city is the parking. We were all worried and hoped that our cars would not get towed.
We also found it difficult to search for the demographical information. There was no information specifically for the borders defined for Fat City.
However, the positive aspects of this assignment outweighs these shortcomings.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke you broke.